Ooh, do I have a good one for you today. Sensavant, back at it. Let's go, people. Today's review is a super special one that has been hyped up on some of the social media platforms, but it's not talked about in Fragcom at all. In fact, there's no other guy reviewers that have done a review on this particular scent. And so I want to bring this to you. Today, we are talking about none other than the Gritti Mango Aoud. This thing, man. Okay. Let's get a spray. Wow. Okay. So I wore this for the last 2.5 days. Wore this all day yesterday. The day before that, I wore it in the morning. Let it run all the way through afternoon. Now I just got a reminiscent spray, and it's deep and it's rich, but it's also crisp and light. You are going to think this smells fantastic right off the rip, right off the first spray. This is going to smell great. It has a prominent, juicy, ripe mango with a guava note at the top. But you're not getting this sort of tropical feel. You are just getting a very clear, crisp picture of mango. Like you cut into a mango and you opened it, and now it's very ripe, ready to eat. You're just getting that natural sort of waft off of that mango. The notes in Gritti Mango are top notes of mango, guava, and neroli, middle notes of coconut milk, ylang-ylang, and osmanthus, and base notes of oud, amber, and vanilla. It's a largely dosed mango with a base of Western oud. The oud gives this fragrance more of a thickness than it does of an actual distinct barnyard, really stinky or oudy smell. It really adds to the thickness more so. And this oud and woods in the background really keeps this fragrance from going into any sort of stickly, sweet, drippy, sugary mango aspect. This is an easy oud to like. And this does something pretty special and different in my collection. And after I finished my 10 ml decant, I immediately got a bottle because of what it did. Now, the interesting thing about this fragrance is, besides how juicy the mango is, it's how this oud evolves and transitions over the life and the course of this fragrance. In the opening, at first, this fragrance ventures way into the oud territory. You're getting a lot of really crisp, bright, clear mango, and you're getting a lot of oud. In the beginning, the oud is very prominent, almost overpowering the mango, but really quite nowhere near enough to say, well, this is just an oud fragrance versus a mango fragrance. Now, what's interesting is how this oud starts to evolve and transition, as I said. So in about 10 minutes from the initial first spray, this oud is really prominent, really strong with this bright, crisp, sort of little bit creamy mango. And about 10 minutes in, this oud sits down right in the middle. About 30 to 40 minutes in, the oud starts to push back and sit in the background and stay about 25% prominent, while that juicy, clear mango starts to push in the foreground and the creaminess starts to come in just very slightly. And this is why I say this oud is really there to just add some thickness and some depth rather than to just make it some sort of oudy, strong fragrance. If you've ever smelled Jerzoff's Cruz del Sur 2, which is a basically mango, yogurt, lassi, lactonic mango drink-esque fragrance. It's sort of in the same vein as that, but it's nowhere near as milky, lactonic, creamy as Cruz del Sur 2. And it does something standing all on its own. Jerzoff goes into what I take as a full-on vacation vibe. I really can't wear that Jerzoff out and about sort of on a errand day or at work or really anywhere that doesn't require some leisurely activity. This tones down all of that, and it adds cleanness that allows this to be more versatile. This is also slightly in the vein of an Erba Pura by Xerjoff, which I know this sounds like, oh, another Erba Pura clone. It's not an Erba Pura clone at all. This thing is blended in a better way than Erba Pura. I will pick this any day over Erba Pura, as Erba Pura has this melange of a fruit bowl and has this really strong musky background. This is much more blended, better than this Xerjoff Erba Pura. It has a very clear, distinct mango note versus a melange of a fruit bowl note. And it doesn't have this screechy musk in it. It has this very smooth, really sort of thick, textured oud in it that really sits in the background. And it makes this fragrance so much better than an Erba Pura. If you're thinking on the fence of getting Erba Pura or Erba Pura Gold, get a sample of this, get a sample of Erba Pura, wear them in unison, test them out together. I think you'll find that this one is much more appealing because Erba Pura has this sort of synthetic aspect. And while Gritti does not feel synthetic at all, it feels very clean, almost natural. I wouldn't say this feels extremely natural. It doesn't feel like it has very specific ripe citruses. It still feels like a perfume, but it's much more on the side of a wearable, better blended, better executed Erba Pura. Now, this fragrance, it does not go overly gourmand. It doesn't go lactonic at all. It does have a slight creaminess, and that creaminess is understated in a very balanced way. The slight creaminess comes on in the mid, and that is from this coconut milk accord that is in the middle. And now this coconut accord brings us to where this scent can be a little bit more versatile in occasion. For me, I was surprised how versatile this scent actually was. This can go in almost every category of wear, not just leisurely vacation wear. Occasion-wise, my wife really enjoyed this on date night. It's a fun, slightly creamy, very clear mango, while also being sensual from the oud. Can be used in casual settings, running around, going to have some fun on the weekends. It stands up well in the heat. It definitely even pushes more in the heat. And I suspect that this is going to stand up very well in the cold. On a breezy day, this really swam around me lovely. And catching those whiffs was wonderful, was interesting, was enjoyable. And I think this will hold up in the cold because it has a very strong DNA. Age-wise, I would say this sits perfectly between juvenile and old man. It's not a young fragrance that every 25-year-old is going to gravitate towards that smells like Acqua di Gia. It has interest, it has uniqueness, but it's not an older fragrance that's going to smell like a 60-year-old person who's the boss and wants to project an aura of, I own this. This is a approachable, balanced fragrance, and it's slightly elegant at the same time because of that oud in the background. Because those fruits don't get too syrupy or sticky or sweet, and because that oud never gets too pungent, it makes it very approachable, very easygoing, very good wear, very sensual, date night, work appropriate, errands fun. This is kind of very all-arounder. So the runtime for this guy was about 8 to 10 hours, becoming a little bit more than a skin scent at 6 to 7 hours. Now, the full projection of this is subdued. It's within an arm's length. It is definitely an arm's length, but it's within an arm's length for the life of this fragrance. Then at that 7 to 8 hour mark, it starts to sit closer to the skin, but it never becomes a full skin scent. It definitely stays elbow in at that 7 to 8 hour mark. At that 9 or 10 hour mark, that's when it starts to become a skin scent to where I have to pull up my shirt to smell it. Ooh, that smells good. Overall, I find this very pleasant and elegant, fun and enjoyable, leisurely and sensual, that I would definitely wear this in the summer and in the winter. It's a tropical vibe that doesn't box me into just the tropical vibe for just the summer. This can go into all different areas, so the tropical vibe is not overly done to where this just feels like a play fragrance. A great balance between fruity and oudi that becomes more welcoming as the fragrance goes on. And this fragrance is definitely unisex. Guys, if you get this, beware, because your lady is going to love it and she's probably going to end up wanting to wear it. So you're going to have to get a bottle faster because you both are going to wear it and go through it. If your lady is into fragrances that aren't just white florals and she likes a little bit of an edge, then this is going to be a fantastic unisex fragrance with that sexy femme fatale, that sexy sensual man, elegant essence. And that is Gritti Mango Aoud. A really good one. Check it out. I definitely got a sample and sat with that sample for a month, wore it in a few different occasions. I had a 10 ml, so I had 4 or 5 different wears on it. Wore it to the gym, wore it outside, wore it in the house, wore it on a date night, and this thing performed fantastically. Just the right amount of projection, not like an Erba Pura where you're offending everyone, but a sensual draw-in scent. Fantastic one. Guys, comment, like, subscribe on the channel. We just picked the winners for the last contest. I just put a contest up this last Friday's video for a big 200 ml bottle of perfume. Enter the contest giveaway. We probably only have 10 or 15 people in, so there's a big chance of you winning so far. The last contest, we had 50 entries. So happy to see everything's going great. Appreciate you guys. Peace and love. Scent Savant out.